All right. Can you guys hear me? Let me know, guys, if you can hear me. Perfect. Let's get started. Hello guys, welcome to a trade in Parrot. This is going to be the second live stream of December, and I have a lot of information to share with you guys. It's going to be packed. I doubt that I'm going to be able to stick everything in a single hour. So first of all, let me tell you, I'm in the middle of my holidays, and I'm noticing that in the markets, in 3Commas, in bot trading, in everything, the shit keeps hitting the fan. It's incredible. As soon as I go for holidays, either Bitcoin goes to an all-time high, or it finds a bottom, or something happens. I can never have holidays because Bitcoin always wants me to go back to work and do some stuff about trading. And yeah, I spend half my holidays looking at charts and stuff. I shouldn't be, but that's the story right now. Hi everyone. Hi Jose. I'll see you soon. And Tom, hi. How is everybody? All right, let me tell you what I'm going to cover today, because I'm promising a lot, but I haven't told you what I'm going to cover. TA. First of all, I have beautiful charts today that are going to help me understand where could be heading Bitcoin if we go bearish, and if we have some sort of relief rally, which is what I prefer to think that is coming next. Where could we be heading? And depending on that is how we can set up bots, how we can, set up a grid, set up, do smart trades and different things. Obviously, it's extremely important. I'm going to cover a little bit of on-chain data, liquidation levels, what are the levels that are acting right now as a magnet, indexes, RSI reverse levels, miners capitulation. We're going to cover as well all this. I mentioned that the shit is hitting the fan. So I'm going to cover, and I have to cover the API leak measures I am taking right now to protect my funds, my investment bots. And I'm going to also mention some exchanges and bot platforms that we could use while we are in this 100% cautious mode with 3Commas, because, the API got leaked, and we know that, and we don't know who did it and what measures are being taken to protect things. So while we feel a little bit more comfortable with depositing more in exchanges that are being used with 3Commas, what could we be looking into as a backup plan? That's also going to be covered today. Paper trading issues, yeah. Since 3Commas reset all the APIs to protect customers, that had a side effect of resetting all the paper trading bots, and I have lots of them. I have a lot of work to do now to reproduce all the bots again, to continue seeing how they are performing in paper trading. That's a mess, yes, and it's affecting everybody. Bot performance, we're going to cover a little bit of these particular bots, which I'm really interested, to keep looking at, because they are performing really well, regardless of what's going on in the market. So let's get started with TA. Okay, on TA, DXY, which is dollar index, we have to look at this. This is extremely important. And just by looking at this, I can see that it's dumping heavy. Okay, we already hit the target that the Hive was forecasting, and we are way beyond that. This closed a red candle, massive red candle here. It's below the previous week. So that is super bearish for the dollar index, which means that that should have a positive effect in what risk-on assets is doing. And I'm going to show you what could be happening with those risk-on assets right next to this. Let's look. I want you to focus on one thing. RSI, we were focusing for this for I don't know how many months. We were looking at this RSI on the DXY and we were seeing how it was jumping all over the place above this trend line on the way up, right? And all this way up, we were thinking, okay, at some point it's going to slow down, it's going to find a top, and the RSI, the momentum, found a top at 80, and then it started doing lower lows around here. And at this point, we in the previous live streams, we started saying what we need to look is for DXY to break this trend line and start heading back down. What I wasn't expecting that it was going to do it right there, and it actually did it, and it's just like a free fall of momentum right now for DXY. And the reason I want you to look into that is because if we see the equivalent with the Nasdaq, and why do I care about the Nasdaq? We should be caring only about crypto. Wrong. We care about Nasdaq because crypto does what the stocks are doing, okay? At least in terms of direction, there's some divergences sometimes, some days, but so far things are still pretty coupled and we cannot ignore that. And look at, if you look at the Nasdaq right now, tell me yourself, this looks like the reverse of what we saw in the DXY in the previous chart, right? So we are doing higher highs and we are starting to form here some bearish divergences. And these are not any sort of bearish divergences, bullish divergences. These are weekly ones, okay? So that means that they don't play out straight away, but once they play out, you know, you get something like this, right? And Bitcoin has done that in both directions, when finding a bottom, when finding a top, and not just Bitcoin, any asset. So this is just pure TA. There's no magic in this. And let's look at the Nasdaq. So the Nasdaq is printing this pattern right here. What I want to see with the Nasdaq is this sort of slowdown. And now I would like to see some green candles right here, and potentially some relief rally that actually breaks out above this trend line. And let's remember, in November, we have a small rally in the Nasdaq, and all December has been just only red candles, And we were expecting to have a Santa's rally, right? So, or solstice, or whatever they call it as well. There's many names for this in December, in this particular time, that there's supposed to be some sort of relief rally, and we don't have it. And I think we might have one, but we might have it delayed. Maybe we are going to have it in January or mid-January to February, who knows. But the candles are already showing some sort of slowdown there. And what I want to see is, as I say, some green candles there and a bounce above this trend line, you know, confirming that that is an actual bottom there. And that will be amazing for a relief rally. Okay, that context. I'm not talking about any bull market or anything. I'm just saying, yeah, what if this thing comes towards there? Well, that will be amazing because we will be forming, guess it and write it in the comments. Exactly, a inverse head and shoulders right there, together with this strong formation of momentum going higher in the Nasdaq, might be flagging a potential local bottom. Okay, and that, if we get it confirmed, will be amazing for all the longs, and it will be devastating for all the shorts. At the moment, the market is overpopulated with shorts. There's the ratio of shorts, not just in crypto, but in everything, every single asset. The ratio is like, I think the highest there's been in I don't know how many years is 1.5. I think that's the ratio at the moment, and it's too much with the shorts. And I think it's time for them to suffer a little bit. They're being too confident that everything is going to dump. And this might be, you know, a flag that we should pay attention. If it plays out, you know, we win, they lose. S&P is doing pretty much something very similar. You can see that this formation here looks like the beginning of an inverse head and shoulders with potential breakout of the trend line sloping here. So that good news, I mean, is promising, okay? Not good news because it's not guaranteed. It's impossible to tell what's going to happen. You know, tomorrow there can be another liquidation and maybe all the stocks, they go up and we miss the rally just because we have another liquidation. You know, there's so many pieces in the game that it's very difficult to take anything for granted. In the 1 hour Bitcoin, I'm looking at another head and shoulders. If you want to cheat like I'm doing myself, because sometimes I see just by eye the head and shoulders, sometimes I miss them. And if you search on indicators for head and shoulders, the top two here that you're going to find, they are built by TradingView recently, and they even include the target. So if this plays out, that's the target. But obviously, the price needs to break above the neck. You know, it's still below the neck, but just to keep an eye, you know, and the target makes a lot of sense because this is an area of liquidity and it has already, you know, pushed the price down twice, you know, and very aggressively. So if we manage to get this, maybe our rally is going to last until there, at least for the short term, and potentially higher, who knows? But just by looking at the 1 hour chart, this looks like a potential next target. And keep these numbers in mind because we're going to compare these numbers with other sources of information that could also, you know, support the thesis that we could go there. This is another analysis that I wanted to do today, which is using the reverse RSI. And I found, you know, this indicator is extremely useful and it might seem a little bit scary at the beginning, but it shouldn't be really. Let me explain what I'm going to try to do. So Bitcoin has been in a bear market all this period. And every time it sells, it reaches a level where the RSI is oversold. You know, sometimes it reaches 20, sometimes 24, 20 again, 30, 24. This is for this bear market. But now if we go back in time and we look at, let's go 2017, where are you? Oh, I went too far. 2017, yes, here. And we look at the final capitulation of 2018, right? Around here, you're going to see that we reach almost between 9 and 10, the RSI oversold on the daily. That is very, very low. If we go to our bear market, the one we are currently experiencing, the lowest we've been is 20. Okay, so I was wondering, you know, we are forming every time we sell, we do a trend line on the RSI, which we hold until we don't hold. Okay, and when we break below, we crash, right? So that's the story of every single crash that we have had. So if you wanted to know when things are going to crash, you need to look when we are retesting these trend lines. And right now, we are, let me increase this, we are below this one, and so we were around here, but this was a fake up, and this could be a fake up, or it might actually sell right now, and we don't know. It's impossible to tell because Bitcoin needs to pick a side, and it might decide to liquidate all the shorts and go as high as 65 or between maybe 62 and 65 and get to there, or it might just say I'm done and it goes way lower. And if it goes lower, we already know we can go between 9 to 30. Every time we sell, we do that. So let's use reverse RSI to see what will happen if we get to those levels. Okay, notice I didn't put 8. I'm going to leave that for later. But if we go to 35 to 30, 24, 20, you know, the usual suspects whenever we sell, where can we go? All right. And at the same time, in this chart, I have areas, you know, that have been support and resistance. It's incredible, but the numbers are starting to repeat. You know, we look at these levels. This level here is when we go to 35. If we go to 35, we get to 16K. If we go to 30, we go to 15.6, or 24, I think it was 14.8. If we go here, 14, and 14 is 20. Okay, 20 has been very popular in this bear market. So if we sell to 20, we get to there. Okay, don't forget one thing. We could still go to a level of 20 and not from here. We might do first something like this and then go to 20. If that happens, the level 20 is not going to remain there. So it's going to follow the price higher. So it will kind of do the same as the price and get there. So if we fall from there and we get to an RSI of 20, we're going to get to a higher price. So keep that in mind. This forecast doesn't remain static. This forecast follows, you know, the price in the direction the price goes before falling. So that is if we are bearish. Okay, you're gonna hear me in the live stream showing you both cases. You know what happens if we go lower, if we go higher, and these are the targets if we go lower to those levels. So what happens if we go to 8? So let me remove this and let's just leave 8, like the bottom, the bottom of 2018. That, my friends, is 7K from where we are. Okay, so from where we are right now, if everybody sells right now and we get to an RSI similar to the capitulation of 2018, that is 7K. I don't like it, but that is what the calculation is giving us. Now, let's get a little bit more bullish here, okay? Because not everything is just bearish. So I want us to look at this weekly chart of Bitcoin, and I want us to notice these stops on the RSI, okay? And I see here that we've been struggling to get above this trend line, and around October, we managed to get above it, and in November, we retested, and now we're forming an uptrend in the RSI like this, okay? If we go to 2018, that is kind of what we need to do to get us out of where we are, okay? So if this holds, that will be extremely great. So holding will look something like this, like that, and like that, and like that, and maybe like this, something like that. If we can do that, that will be great. So what are the arguments that we have right now to say if we are bullish, where can we go? So we have, first of all, a descending wedge. And this is formed from May until today. And I'm seeing here, you know, this is pretty bullish. Most of the descending falling wedges on Bitcoin, they break to the upside, and the target is the top of the wedge, which is 31K. So could we get that? Possibly, you know, it's possibly if we break above this, we could get there. And we also have another falling wedge, which I'm not showing here, but is, I think, is something like this. This is the most, you know, shown in Twitter. I didn't do it properly, but, you know, roughly that is the falling wedge that everybody is currently looking at, with a target at precisely the all-time high. So it's pointing at getting us back into the all-time high. And when people post it in Twitter, everybody's laughing because just it seems absolutely impossible. I think right now with the economy and everything, it seems impossible to me too. But if I focus on this falling wedge, getting us to 30 in a relief rally and then dumping again 50%, it sounds like a potential 2023 if things keep going as they are going right now. So let's see what happens with that. And if we break above this, where can we get? Okay, so for that, we need to forecast using RSI. So if we want to use again the RSI reverse, let's say this thing get us somewhere between this stop, so from 53 to 70. Let's do a forecast very quickly, being aggressive. So if we go from 40, and let's put 50 here, and let's put 60. So those are the levels. So from 30, right now, sorry, the bottom is 40. So from 40, where we are, we could get to 18K, then next to 20, and then next to 25K. That is if we make it with the RSI to 70. It looks very difficult to really to get 30K to me, because that will mean that the RSI needs to get above 70, almost like in a bull market. And I think that's a little bit out of the range where we are. Let's look at miners capitulation. And in this case, in the past, I've looked into this, but miners capitulation, I usually use the daily. But if we want to be, have a second support and more confident in the results, we should use the weekly. The weekly has almost never failed. There's just a few exceptions here in 2012, but everything else in the weekly has been extremely accurate. And that's why I'm looking into when are we going to get the next buy in the hash ribbons. This indicator is free. You can find it in TradingView. And if we get a buy here, it should be really great. And we are currently in capitulation. So that means pay attention, have a notification sent to you when this prints a buy, because otherwise, you're going to miss these movements. And we were about to get a buy in the weekly, but since this bad news happened there, we never get it. And now we are still waiting for one. So this is stretching and stretching and stretching. But when things are good, it's going to print. And if you focus on the shape that is doing right now, the hash ribbons, you're going to see that every time we get the buy is slightly after you form this rounded consolidation at the bottom, then you get the signal. But in order to do that, it needs to form this shape. And well, what I'm seeing here is a bounce, okay? And this bounce could potentially head upwards if we play out on all the other things that I showed you before that were bullish. And then we might see, and I'm going to leave here, a speculative buy. Let's say this is January 23. Let's meet up in January 23 and see whether that play out. But I'm guessing that either we don't get it because we sold, or we get it and it's around that time. And knowing the time is also as important as knowing where are we going. CPR levels for December. We started December with a virgin CPR, and I call it like that because most of the time you go like a magnet towards the pivot. You do that usually every month. If you start a month away from the pivots, from the monthly pivots, you normally go towards them. So you can start the month and flip a coin and say, I'm gonna bet 10K that is gonna go to a pivot, and you will have been precisely correct. You just cross it and get rejected. When you get rejected, normally you sell. And we got rejected, we sold, and we are hanging here in between the first support and the CPR levels. And we are seeing this 14,595, which is the first support, and we have some supports below that we haven't touched. We haven't touched any support. So it's still likely that we come here and we pay a visit to this within the month. That is what this model is saying. It's not what I'm saying. So I'm just kind of interpreting what it could happen. If we go above the level 18.5, then these levels are on the table, 20 to 24. But that so far is not happening. Cerberus kind of was playing a little bit with us because I saw Cerberus going lower. And if you are not familiar with Cerberus is telling us where is the flow of the stable coins going, whether it's going to the crypto or it's going to stable coins. When you are at the top, usually most of the investment is already in coins, in different altcoins. And when we are below, most of the people have the cash in stablecoin. And we went below and we didn't cross this line. We didn't capitulate here. So this was kind of a bitter feeling, bittersweet, because I was like, oh, that's amazing. We're going to find bottom. I'm going to switch on a lot of long bots. And it's going to be incredible because all these rights are usually the best rights that you can have. You can use the most aggressive bots during these periods. And instead of that, we got a warning here because this kind of bounced there. And when it bounces, which is something that has never done, my interpretation is that this is a dead cat bounce. Okay, I could be wrong, and maybe this does this, and people start investing right away because everybody's maybe is desperate to invest and they start buying. But I think for alts, there's still some capitulation. So my guess is that this eventually is going to do this. And then from there, we're going to get a confirmation that is a great time to invest in alts. I think there's still capitulation to have in the alts. Yeah. Let's look a little bit of on-chain data analysis. Well, we already did a bit with the hash ribbons, but with this indicator that shows us the number of unique addresses that appear for the first time in a Bitcoin transaction. And why is this important? Because when people start, using more Bitcoin, it's usually when they create a new wallet and they deposit for the first time, and that is a sign that is attracting people to the network and that things are healthy, etc. And what I'm showing here is two moving averages, the 30-day and the 1 year. The white is 1 year, the green is 1 month. And when we get these bullish and bearish crossovers, is areas of extreme interest. For example, here, when we cross it, that shows that there is a lot of interest in the network and that we potentially might be, accumulating and going higher. And that's exactly what happened, many times in the past. So you can see here the price of Bitcoin, and what it happens with this indicator. And at the moment, this is coming down. When we were here, I said that I'm actually worried about this movement. And why I'm worried? Because this was caused by FTX capitulation. What happened after FTX? Everybody created their first wallet because there was panic to leave their Bitcoin in an exchange. So many people that never use a wallet, they created a wallet, and that potentially contribute to getting to this high level here. Obviously here doesn't matter because no one knew that FTX was going to collapse, but around here maybe it's the case. And then right after that, there's less interest. So that kind of confirms what I was thinking. Super Guppy is still with a massive mouth open. I want to see Super Guppy doing this rounded bottom to start seeing that we are going somewhere. But Super Guppy is moving averages, so it's a delayed indicator. It's probably going to confirm what we already know, but seeing that it keeps opening more and more and more, it's not great necessarily. Volatility is at the moment still at a very low, so we are still due for a massive move. If we are right and the move is to the upside, we could get pretty high, because there's the longer you stay at a low volatility, kind of the more energy you have and the more explosive the move is. And the last move explosive was caused by FTX, was to the downside. So either we get another one, and it could be to the downside as well. This is just saying something big is cooking. When we look at the whole history of Bitcoin and we look at what's going on right now, if we zoom in, we're going to see that the second level here got us rejected, push us down, And that is what has happened again here. At some point, if you don't cross it, you get pushed back down, you revisit the bottom, and then you come back up. So maybe potentially this is a moment to cross it back up, because we were already pushed here and here again. Maybe we cross it around here. My guess is we're going to cross it there. I don't see us, getting rejected here and doing the whole story that we did there, because if we do it, we need to go straight to 9K. It's possible, but it's not my preferred hypothesis. And that also happened in this bear market. So it's looking very similar in every year. In terms of fair value gaps, we have only the closer ones that we have. We still have to the downside that are not visible, but we have plenty of fair value gaps to the upside, which are candles that left no other candle overlapping, and that implies that there's a lot of liquidity there to get grabbed. So from 17 more or less to around 17.2, there's a lot of liquidity. There's also a 17.5 and 18.5. So these levels at some point are going to attract the price to the upside. Obviously, we need that confirmation that that's the direction we are going. Otherwise, we're going to do it later, not right now. But if you want to know if things get bullish, these are great levels to take profits. Partial profits. It doesn't mean that if you enter a position here, you could take some there, maybe leave some for there, but there might be a chance that you never get to there. But I will take note of those levels. Let's look at the MAs. Every time we get rejected by one of these large MAs, which these ones are the 50, 100, 200, 300. So every time you get rejected by one of them, you go to the next level. So now we got rejected here when we were doing 18, and we could be headed to 13.9. Another level that keeps resonating. I'm going to skip this one. Oh, actually, I was expecting that this fractal, which I took from there, and I placed, let's do undo. I placed here. It was going to play out, but just as a note, we didn't get here. We kind of mimic very, very well this movement, but right now we are here. If we did it, we should get to this level here, which is around 10K. We might do it, who knows, but just as a note. And yes, that's what I wanted to show you in terms of TA. Let's head quickly to these other things. Altcoin season, very important. If you're running bots with altcoins, you have to pay attention to this. And I noticed something when we were coming down, all the way down, BTC pairs, amazing. Serpil BTC pairs, any bot that I was running here with BTC pairs on paper trading, on real money, they were doing great. Right now we are getting to this level right here, and I'm noticing that USDT pairs are starting to take over. The bots with Serpil, MarcoBot, all of them are starting to do better in USDT pairs. But I'm going to share more information later. Remember that if you're using Bot Assistant, you can automate switching on and off bots based on these levels. You can say, when we exit above Bitcoin season, I'm going to switch on this bot. And when we get to altcoin season, switch it off, or any order that you want to do it, really. In terms of fear and greed index, we are at 25, extreme fear. So that is probably the reason why we see so many shorts. It's just ridiculous the amount of shorts that we have at the moment. There's over 4 billion there was on the 30, yeah, and we have kind of a week to the downside, and then back up that liquidated part of this ratio, the difference between shorts and longs, but we are still at minus 3 billion in shorts. That means that there are more shorts exposed to get liquidated, and that is mouth-watering for the market maker. market maker is gonna want to liquidate those dudes. So let's update this because I think it's not new data. Okay, so the price on the 7-day Binance came and wanted to liquidate all these longs that were going to get liquidated at 16.250, 16,300. I actually have an order to buy there, but it went to here and it couldn't liquidate all of them. Now it's heading to the upside, and there are all the shorts that we saw before that they are at risk. They are at the level 16.9, 16,150. And if you look at the 12-hour, let's have a quick look. You're gonna see in the last 12 hours, the new positions that have been created that are at the highest risk of getting liquidated are positions that could get liquidated at 16.3. So there is a chance that the price comes here and pinches this liquidity before heading up, if I'm right in going higher. So this concludes all TA, and I'm now gonna look into bots, okay? But take it with a grain of salt, because 3Commas has switched off some of the bots in paper trading, actually all of them, on the 28th of December. So those bots are no longer running now. I need to resolve those issues one by one. But there are still things that we can conclude from these daily percentages in the performance of the bots. So I'm going to show you which ones I find more interesting. First of all, Johano selected, which is pretty much, no deals open. You can see here what you probably getting the same if you have paper trading account. So account deleted, that is what they did to protect customers. They did it with all the accounts, including paper trading accounts. That's really bad, really, because it's messing up all my bots. Johano selected, pretty good performer during the past month, doing well, during these movements to the downside, getting very good returns at those levels. Serpil, as I was mentioning before, with USDT pairs in the past month has been doing really great. And Serpil, the version that I find safe enough for bear market, is the one that uses market cipher as an orchestrator with higher than 15 minutes. It needs to run with 1 hour, 4 hour, 1 day, like it's doing here. If you notice, this is BAQL to start and stop the bot when there is market cipher, bullish and bearish divergences. And yeah, this one doing really great. This is Serpil 9. Let's have a look at Serpil 6. Same story, USDT pairs, December going higher. And again, same orchestration signal. Serpil 3 also doing good. It had a little bit of a drawdown here, but now it's doing higher highs. Serpil with BTC, they've been, most of them, struggling during the month of December. After we reach Bitcoin season, that was the time that these bots made their local high. It went to 1500. Obviously, I leave it running forever, just to monitor when the bots do better, when they do terrible, then taking notes and then learning from this. That's why I use it. But I can see that as soon as we got to Bitcoin season, this is starting to do a drawdown. So it could be a great idea that this bot is behind an orchestration that says when you enter Bitcoin season, no more BTC pair. That's a good takeaway, we could say. Now we're going to look into Marco E bots. These are new bots that they are doing very high time frame, trading view, buy and sell using the deal close condition. And we're going to look particularly at the ones that did the best, so we can, focus only on them. This is one that is using trailing on the stop loss at 5% and is using Super Trend Heikinashi 2-hour orchestration, which is available in the channel for all the members. And it's doing pretty well. This is invested with $60. So during December, it has done more than a 10%, 12%, something like that. And this version is doing the same, but instead of the super trend with the 2 hour and Heikin Ashi candles, it's doing it just with a standard super trend on the 1 hour. Also doing good, 10% during this month. And again, there's no trade after the 28th. This is interesting. I think they switched off my account on the 28th, but there were still some trades on the 29th. That's pretty interesting. This one doesn't have orchestration, so this means that anyone can use it. And the only difference in this bot is that it's doing a minimum trading volume of 50. That volume it needs to be adjusted with the market. So if the market goes more bullish, you probably want to increase this 50 to 100, 150, and so on. But since we are in bear market, there's very little volume, and I need to restrict it. But it's doing almost as, good, but not as good as if you have proper orchestration. This is the only survivor at the moment with long and short. Long and short without orchestration, without anything. You can see that it made a high at the 16. There was a lot of volatility, and this bot does great with volatility. Sideways market, it starts doing a painful drawdown every day, and I expect that if there's another explosive move, this should go to the upside. Unfortunately, I won't be able to run this bot anymore because I have to delete the paper trading account and create everything again, which is going to take me probably 2 weeks of work. Marco E with altcoins. This did really good until here. It's kind of recovering on the sell on the 16th of December. If you remember, we had, kind of a move of Bitcoin very pronounced, and it went to the downside. And the takeaway in this bot is not that we should be using this orchestration. I think we need to use the same market cipher, but at least 1 hour, or maybe a combination of 1 hour, 4 hour, 1 day, instead of the 15-minute. I think the 15-minute is too aggressive. And I noticed in the chart that on the way down, the 15 minutes was triggering buy too many times, and it got wrecked all this area. If we did it with the 1 hour or higher, we wouldn't have bought on the way down. We will have bought the actual bottom. And so I think when I migrate this, I'm going to migrate it, but I'm going to no longer use 15. I'm going to use 1 hour. QFLO, this is, again, pretty good survivor. It got hit again around that time when Bitcoin went down, but you can see how aggressively it recovered. So it kind of went almost to the same level in 10 days or 9 days, something like that. And that's exactly what we want from this type of bots. They're very aggressive, but at the same time, they do pretty well when they recover. FFALL, same outcome I'm seeing. 15 minutes might not be the best. Maybe we want to stick to 1 hour, wait a little bit longer, but at the same time, protect better the profits. 15 minutes is a little bit too aggressive. Don't get me wrong, 15 minutes is great, but if we have a proper trend. And I wanted to cover as well some bots, but before I forget 3Commas, what do we need to do with 3Commas? Well, they already deleted all the API keys. That means that you need to recreate all the API keys. If you're using Binance or OKS, use Fast Connect. Remember that. And in terms of paper trading, you got 2 options. So this is what I learned from support on 3Commas. One option is just to wait. Maybe the 3Commas team are going to manage to recover paper trading and get it back to work without you needing to delete the account. It's unknown they're going to achieve that, and it's also unknown an estimate on when they might be able to do so. So if you are desperate to do some paper trading right now, you probably want to go to account, and delete the paper trading, then fund it again and do all the bots again. In my case, since I'm in holidays and I'm back on around the 10th, I'm just going to leave it there and hope for the best. Maybe they fix it. If they haven't, when I'm back, I'm going to recreate all the bots. That is for paper trading. But in terms of trading itself, I'm exposing the list funds, only what I want to trade and only what I'm willing to lose, at least until I hear what happened. I want to know what happened with 3Commas, who stole the keys, who leaked the keys, and what sort of measures are being taken in place for us, traders, to feel comfortable again to put an amount that we cannot afford to lose, right? At the moment, I put a small amount and I test certain bots. You can see here that I have in this bot, for example, $300, when normally I will put much more than that in a bot like this. But, it is what it is. To compensate, I'm starting to look a little bit into alternatives that I will never say they can replace the product of 3Commas. 3Commas product is just unbelievably good, and it's got absolutely everything I need. At the moment, the only thing that is missing, is something extremely important, that is, to confirm that is secure enough and all these things. So that's kind of really sad, but the product is the best. There's nothing better than that. So if you're wondering where is something that does it better, maybe you're going to find some things that in some particular features they're outstanding versus 3Commas, but something that overall offers that amount of value you are not going to find right now. So what I'm doing is trying to compensate, because I want to take still advantage of certain movements of the price. So for example, in here, if we go to 16.3, there should be a good bounce there if we drop here. So why not having, for example, a grid bot that can be on spot or on Bybit? You can now do grid bots also with leverage. So you could be waiting there with an entry price to start the bot when you get to 16.3 and let it bounce to a level that you think is realistic to bounce, and let the price just do those movements. Doing these kind of things is what many people are doing. So many people are doing grid bots, and what I'm showing you now is OKX, which is another platform I'm testing, for grid bots, for martingale, DCA bots. And for example, this bot that was running with Sol, this dude, went here, found a divergence at around the price 8 on Market Cipher on Solana, and he started the grid bot between 8 and 12. And this bot, made 100. Well, this is P&L. I'm not sure if this is the total P&L or if it's the forecast for the whole year. I'm not fully sure, but it looks pretty good. And these are the kind of things that you have to do. Unfortunately, to run this sort of bots, you need to be paying attention to the market. You need to look at what levels to enter. This is not this performance of 150% very quickly with a 20x. It's not something that the user just drop a random grid bot at a random time and collected 150%. Probably what he did was pay attention to the charts, pay attention to the bearish divergences, seeing where there is a potential move back to the upside. Maybe he was also using a stop loss in case he's totally wrong and the price goes to 6. And he was right, and it went really well. So I encourage you to look into OKX, Bybit. I'm going to leave some links in the description so you can sign up and get some discounts as well. But OKX offers grids, it offers martingale. I didn't see a martingale with leverage, unfortunately, but those are things that are worth paying attention. Platforms, I look into Alt-Ready. I'm starting to look, some of these platforms, I'm already contacting them to see whether we can integrate some of the services that we have in the trading Parrot. like for example, the orchestrator, pair selection and things like that. With some of them, I'm only looking into integrating some signals, but we will have to look into that. For example, this is alt-ready, and this is a platform that the guys that implemented Tyson Signal are looking as well potentially to integrate with this. Pionex, I keep in chats with them. They are trying hard to get integrated their things with what we do, so potentially the users can use the same things on Pionex. There's also this one, I think Tom shared this with me, I don't remember, but this is another platform I'm interested to look into late January when I come back from holidays. I have already started conversations with the owners of Plurex, because they have a very advanced product. I think it's still not live for customers, but we are already negotiating that all the TTP members are gonna get a very good juicy discount, and also integration of some of our services from Bot Assistant and things like that. They are already, trying to catch up with all the things that we have done, trying to understand it, trying to brainstorm it to see how they could potentially, during 2023, integrate it as well. And that will give you options. Eventually 3Commas will, I'm sure they're going to find a way to, to resolve the issue, to find who did what and blah, blah, blah. Things are going to go public eventually. I mean, I'm trying to be positive, but if things go positive in that way, it's not a waste of time to have alternatives. I mean, you users, you're gonna probably appreciate to have more alternatives. This is another alternative. I also have some meetings scheduled with this team, TradeLab AI, to look what can we do together for 2023. Obviously, we're gonna need time, we're gonna work hard and all that stuff, but we are doing what needs to be done. Yes, last thing I wanted to share, this chart, it looks crazy, but it really gives me some hope. You can see here the timing of the halving. You can see the different cycles of Bitcoin and how they are coinciding the times. You can even, draw a line and project where every single thing could happen, the bottoms. And this is where we are. This is the speculative bottom. I'm not sure if they are marking it there as the current bottom, but who knows, maybe we haven't had one. And the price keeps going this way. So here is where we get to the halving and the peak. And I wanted to share this as well, which is trading Parrots. The NFTs made it to top 69, amazing number. And I cannot believe that, because when we started, we were looking into all the other projects, and we say, we're going to use as a utility or NFTs, and we'll see where can we get. And one day randomly I was checking here and we were at this level. So that's pretty cool. We'll continue looking into how to add more utility to these NFTs. So in 2023, when we get some relief rally or a potential bull market later on, holding this, if we are still around here, obviously, it should give you a great outcome. I'm going to look into questions right now. Let me see just very quickly all the topics. I think I cover everything. If not, let me know in the comments. Let me see all the questions. Questions. Will this video be saving YouTube after, or is it done streaming? So this video is done in streaming. Once it's completed, it's for all the members. So it's going to go back to only with the link. So you can save the link if you want, but it's not going to be listed on the YouTube page. Question, TTP, how can I personally contact you, please? Speak to my team on Discord and let them know what you need, and they are going to reach out to me and we're going to arrange something. I'm just on holidays now, so I might be a little bit slow. Happy New Year, 1 a.m. Short squeeze as GME. Yeah, potentially. You should really start trying Crypto Hopper. Yep, that's another alternative I've been looking to. I forgot to put it in the list. there is not one indicator that will be ever 100% accurate. It's all probability, but I do like your cross analysis to without false or bad signals. Much respect, TTP. Thank you so much, Sharon. Question, is Cerberus a modified stock RSI? Oh, you have a very good eye, Sharon. I really like that. What I did, I'm going to tell you. What I did with Cerberus is I found an equation that I put all the stable coins that are currently the top stable coins on one side, and I grabbed total or total 2, I don't remember, and I managed to nail an equation that gives me a number, and that number I put it in the stochastic RSI, because stochastic RSI has this property that shows you tops and bottoms. That's why it looks like a stochastic RSI, but it's not a stochastic RSI of any price. It's not a stochastic RSI of the stable coins, neither of BTC. It's a stochastic RSI of a custom equation using, stable coins and total and BTC, and just to forecast, where's the value and where is it heading. And it ended up being really accurate. When I finished and I coded it in PineScript, it was very quick to code. And when I saw that it was very accurately showing tops and bottoms, why not publishing? How safe is Fast Connect? Okay, we don't get to see the secret key. In my opinion, Fast Connect probably shares an API key with 3Commas that they have. There's two alternatives. Either it's a rolling API key that gets automatically voided by the exchange, and then the exchange provides a new one to 3Commas. That's potentially how it works, to keep things safer and have a window where you expire it and create a new one, expire it and create a new one. I don't know, but at least what you get with that is that you as a user, you never have access to the secret. And because you don't have access to the secret, you cannot mess around and end up copy pasting it, and some sort of browser extension ends up sniffing into your clipboard and catching it and selling it to the black market. So that's kind of the immediate value that it offers, but definitely you have to use it. They're recommending it to use it. There must be obviously a reason why that's better, and probably other exchanges are going to follow with the same approach. I can see Bybit probably, hopefully, getting the same thing, and the rest as well. And next to the API on my exchange, and now says HMAC, looks new to me. I haven't seen that one. I hope that 3Commas, I understand that having IP whitelisting might not be everything, but I hope they are going to eventually also offer that. I hope it's feasible to offer something like that as well. If you use OKX grid bots, you may as well be a professional trader. Yes, exactly. Using those bots requires knowledge. And that's how people get kind of wrecked, with those bots, because people enter at any time. People have FOMO. People just want to switch on a bot. And that FOMO is what gets you wrecked with most of the bots. If you don't have, the background of trading and knowing how to hold on when things are not great, then you need something like orchestration to do it for you, or at the very least, look into some indexes like, Bitcoin season, altcoin season, greed and fear, and try to use at least some of those, and not be so aggressive with the bots, because you can still get wrecked anywhere here if you don't have proper orchestration. All the other alternatives, Canyon, have the same risk regarding API. Yep, pretty much. So I woke up this morning thinking, okay, you have two systems. One system gets hacked and the other hasn't. Which one is safest? Is the one that got hacked or the other one? And, I tend to think that if 3Commas, they love their product, and I can see that they've been delivering like crazy new features. Many of them I requested the features, many of them I'm sure you guys requested, and they listen to customers. And it's really sad to see that this is happening. There might be an internal, there might be an external, no one knows. But the thing I know for sure is that they must be freaking out on how to resolve it ASAP, to find how to protect it. Communications, yes, I kind of feel like it was not great. Many people lost their funds and they were told that they were doing it wrong and stuff like that. So that's a little bit sad as well, because, I know that they love their product and they were potentially overreacting to protect when they were still honestly believing that they never leaked it and that there was bad intentions. And under that stress, maybe they overreacted and were not necessarily 100% correct politically. But I still think that they love their product, and I hope, the best that they can do in the coming year. Hopefully we can keep using 3Commas. I would love to be able to keep using it and have a proof at hand that I can say, oh yeah, now they did the correct thing, and thanks to these measures, I work in computer science for many years, so thanks to these measures I feel more safe now and I'm confident to use it. But since I don't know anything yet, I'm being cautious. Will you please talk about platforms which provide AI trading bots? AI trading bots, yes, that's something I'm planning to do probably when I'm back from holidays. I've seen a lot of videos in YouTube where people just ask ChatGPT, produce me a bot that does this and that, and then they get some code, and if you know some Pine script, sometimes you need to tweak it slightly to get it to work 100%. So I've seen some people doing that, and you can get a lot of value on doing that. But I'm not sure if you mean AI, like it decides when to buy and sell via AI, or the AI produces you Pine script code, which are two very different things, right? You could do an RSI strategy and tell ChatGPT to write it for you, or you could literally use AI to know, based on the Bitcoin price, where to buy and sell. One thing that I forgot to do today is to look into the bookmap, because we saw all these numbers, all these prices where people are buying, where there's areas of interest, but this is where people are buying and selling. So here we can see a heat map, and where are the buy orders accumulating and where are the sell orders accumulating. So this, for example, at 17K, you can see that there is quite a lot of volume there, right? And we also see the 16.3, 16, so those levels are not made up. And we are definitely not the only ones looking at those and coming up with, okay, there's a head and shoulders, this is gonna go there, there's a liquidity there. All these things, many people are doing it, and they have plenty of cash to put there. And you can tell. But what interests me is that there's a level here, 15, and look where it ends. Look at the 12K. This is just ridiculous. Ridiculous. The amount of, dry powder that there is at 12K, it's higher than any other selling level or buying level. I don't know what's going on, but I noticed this morning that wasn't there 1 month ago. Now it is there. So someone is expecting a capitulation to 12K, some way less than half at 15K. And if we start expanding this, we can see obviously the proximities are, there's plenty of levels, but yeah, pretty cool this. Yeah, okay. So I think I cover all the questions. If you, yeah, okay. Crypto Hopper, yeah, I'll keep that in mind and everything. So, all right, guys, I hope you found something useful. There's a lot of bad news outside, so I hope this brings some good things to celebrate. But other than that, tonight is New Year. Some of you, I'm not sure if you already had New Year, but I hope to see you next year, and Happy New Year to everybody, and best wishes for you, your family, and everybody. Stay safe, and I'll see you next year. Take care. Bye-bye.